Did you know that healthy workplace culture absolutely drives business outcomes, including higher performance, productivity, and profit? Join us for our next episode of the Flourishing Workplace Podcast, where we're going to talk to Dr. Jaffer of Trec Dental, and he's going to share with us how he has built healthy workplace culture that has transformed everything in his business. We'll see you there. You're listening to the Flourishing Workplace Podcast, a movement to reimagine work brought to you by thought leaders and industry professionals. Discover how to create cultures where people belong, grow, and contribute fully. At Flourishing Workplace, we're changing the world by changing the workplace. Well, hey, welcome back, everybody, to the Flourishing Workplace Podcast. We're so excited to have with us today Dr. Jaffer, the CEO and CVO of Trec Dental. And in our last episode, Dr. Jan joined us. And so, of course, if you missed that, please do check it out. But welcome, Dr. Jan.
Thank you. Thanks for having me again.
So great to have you. And, you know, in our last episode, and again, just to encourage people to make sure that you have a chance to check that out, but we talked about your organization and Trec Dental, and all the details are there. But what would you say, because you've been able to create a culture of teamwork and respect, and as you mentioned, excellence, along with continuous improvement, what would be some of the reasons why? Like, what is the why for you? What's kind of driving the bus for you?
Yeah, no, that's great. And it's always nice to start with why. I'm a big fan of, Simon Sinek and reading, start with why. And so my why is motivating people to live well and give back.
Okay.
And so I love dentistry in this because, we need to keep people healthier, right? I mean, some of the things that I know that you post a lot about is, your journey and your health journey and how well you're doing and making sure we're getting out there and we're doing the right things to not only keep ourselves physically healthy, but mentally healthy as well. And then the, giving back. And we talked a little bit about that last time, the social responsibility piece. And so how can you hit both of those? How can you, create healthier people in an environment that allows them to be better and support their family and their friends and their businesses better, and then turn that around with the gratitude to help others.
That's so good. Live well and give back.
Yeah.
Right. I love that. And so, there's no doubt that today, 2025, we're shooting this in the fall of 2025, that, there's a challenging sort of workplace environment today. I'm going to say particularly around mental health and overall sort of leadership development. Well-being is a part of that. But when 75% in a recent survey of active professionals talk about having experienced significant burnout on the job at least once, and these are professionals, right? It's, to me, that's staggering because that impacts everything. And so you at Trec, I know you've been focused quite a bit on creating a healthy workplace environment. Of course, perfection's not the goal, but certainly creating that environment. And so what are some of the things that you have done to create that sort of an environment and allow that environment to flourish?
Yeah. So, I mean, you look at the demands on so many people right now, but especially in dentistry, it's like, it's always high stress all the time because we're working in small environments, again, where people don't want you to be. I mean, the mouth is a very intimate place for a lot of people. And so opening that up, they're stressed in the chair, we're stressed working on them because it's there's a lot going on. So how do we help our teams, right? And ultimately, we look at it through a number of different things. I mean, when you come to work, obviously work needs to be done, but what other things can you do outside of work? And so we spend a lot of time on team development. That's one thing that we try to do is slow down to speed up. And when we talk about team development, it's not about, hey, how do we do a filling better or how do we do a crown better, like that continuing education portion, which is important for dentistry. It's how do you give them a better skill set for coping? And, we worked with you a couple of years ago to do some stuff with our teams. And again, it's giving them a skill set to get better and slowing down so that they have that skill set that they can use when things are challenging. So both mentally, financially, I mean, we've brought in some great financial speakers because when things are stressful financially, it resonates through everything that you do.
Yeah.
And so finding the right people to help, but slowing down to give them the opportunity. Because I think that's what a lot of businesses don't always get the chance to do is, hey, take a day out. And we do it 3 times a year. So not quite every quarter, but 3 times a year, take a day out, stop working in the business and not even on the business, work on the people.
Right. Yeah. And what are examples of some of the other things that you've done from a team building perspective? Because I see a lot of it on social media, but I think it'd be great for people to see.
Yeah. So, I mean, for us, again, bringing great speakers in are really important. I mean, we got to bring in James Nestor, which is really interesting because, I mean,
Nice.
he's got a great book and teaching people how to breathe better, right? I mean, it's part of our lifestyle of like in the mouth,
Right.
but, teaching people how to breathe better. Going and just doing fun things, right? I mean,
Yeah.
like one of the things we did recently was like Launchpad and,
Right.
did that or speaking. And actually, 2 weeks from now, we're rented out Telespark.
Okay.
And we're taking our teams there. And so there's going to be some presentations, some team
Nice.
development. And then, we're going to do like a competition out there and just getting outside the office and having some fun. And then making sure that there's always a socially responsible part of that. And so we're going to be putting some packages together that can be then given out as well.
Yeah, I love that. And so what are some of the bigger challenges that you have seen when it comes to creating healthy workplace culture today?
I mean, I think it's the biggest challenge for us is finding the time to do it.
Right.
I mean, and then also having people understand that they need the help.
Right.
I mean, we have an EAP in place as well, so there's something that people can call, but we'll reach out to some staff members that you can tell are having a difficult time, or they've let you know that they're having a difficult time, and
Right.
you'll reach out and you'll say, "Hey, did you call somebody? Did you get some?" Because we don't have that skill set, right? That's not our skill set, and some people use it and some people don't. And I think breaking down those barriers to it's okay to ask for help. Help
Right.
is important. Feel free to ask for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and it's funny because there's been an increasing consciousness, I would say, in people that, hey, some of these resources are available through your benefits program, through your EAP program. But, you want to take the time to make sure that you invest in them. Even something as simple. I remember one day when I was working in a role that had a great benefits program and realizing I hadn't used any of the massage therapist services in that at all.
Yeah.
And realizing, well, man, why haven't I done that? And it was time. Exactly
It's
like you
always
said.
time.
It was like
Yeah.
I had told myself a story. I don't have time for that. But really, I did. I just needed to carve it out, And so you have some unique, I wouldn't say that unique approaches to compensation, but when I've listened to you on podcasts before, it's interesting because employers are always like, well, I can't pay my people enough. And of course, we are in Calgary. Calgary is a pretty competitive city.
Yeah.
But tell us a little bit about your approach to compensation. And the reason I ask that, particularly in light of healthy workplace culture, is that it matters, right?
Yeah.
It really does matter. People got to pay their bills. And so how do you see that?
So, I mean, compensation on a basic level of paying people, I think you need to pay people well, and you need to make sure that your team is well compensated for what they do. But I think it's some of the fun other things or different things that you can do that keep them. Because I mean, once you get into an industry where there's standards, and in many industries there's standards, if you're paying within that standard, then what keeps people? Because one of the biggest challenges I know we have in dentistry, but I know a lot of people are having right now, is finding good quality people to work. And so once you've all paid a certain amount, what makes that difference, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's creating these healthy environments, the team development. But one of the other, fun things or cool things that we do is we have at the end of the year, everybody's given a benefit. And we don't do bonuses. And if we want to talk about why, I can give you a whole conversation on why we think bonuses are detrimental to organizations. But we have a year long and everybody gets it. Doesn't matter if the clinic did well, didn't do well, whatever. It's a year long benefit. And you either get a match to your RSP or the other two that I think people take more advantage of is come on a trip with us to Guatemala to do some volunteer work. And so we pay for the trip. You got to give your time back so you don't get paid while you're out there. Or actually come and hang out with us on a beach in Mexico.
Nice.
So, they get
Love
one
that.
of 3 opportunities and it's just something different where, so, they can spend some time together because again, what we know is if people like each other, they also stay at work. One of the interesting research things I was reading recently was like, what is the biggest reason, I'll just ask you, what do you think the biggest reason is people stay at their jobs?
Well, what I've been told is the connection to their team and to particularly even their immediate supervisor.
Right. And that's what we always thought. And that's actually part of it. It was like, hey, is it a healthy environment? And is my boss good to me? And they've now shown that it's if you have a best friend at work.
Okay.
And that's the connection to the team.
Absolutely.
Because what they
It's
said
huge.
is if you choose to leave, it's almost like a divorce.
Yes.
And nobody wants to go through that, right? I mean, that's not the goal. And so if you create teams that actually like each other, that truly like each other,
Absolutely.
they're willing to stay. So what are we doing as organizations or businesses to make sure that we're fostering that?
Yeah, no, and I love that because when anybody listening to this thinks back to the jobs that they love the most, it was likely because there was people around them that they enjoyed.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And jobs that they hated the most, it wasn't just the task or the function, it was the relationships. And it's interesting, as employers to be thinking, well, how do I foster a relationship where people can actually like each other?
Right.
And that can't just be about the task, right?
Right.
There has to be some level of recreation because that's how that works. And so just any final tips or tidbits on creating healthy workplace culture for us?
No, I mean, I think it's just spending the time. Spending the time and slowing down. And if you can't do these crazy big things, totally plan a lunch every month, close the office and just have lunch with each other, right? We talk about, trying to do dinners after work. It's hard after work. People have kids and there's events and the rest. But can you slow down even once a month at work and just have lunch with your team?
So good. Thank you so much. And so, Dr. Jan, if somebody wanted to get a hold of you, or follow you on social media, what would be the best way to do that?
Yeah, so Instagram or LinkedIn is the best for me. So Instagram, Dr. Trec, and LinkedIn, Jan Jaffer. And if you want to learn a little bit more about our organization, trecdental.com.
Fantastic. And so please do connect with Dr. Jan or follow Trec Dental. And please join us for our next episode. We're going to continue with Dr. Jan and particularly lean into the area of leadership development and bench strength. And so thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you in our next episode. The movement for better workplaces starts with one action, yours. Thank you for listening to the Flourishing Workplace Podcast and keep thriving. At Flourishing Workplace, we're changing the world by changing the workplace.